Well, in fact, just a few minutes ago, another child was released and driven right past us here in the front seat of a car. But it's been quiet, no gunfire here today. The real fire has been in Washington, where President Clinton has launched an attack. He said today that America has created a gun-filled society that no other nation has allowed, and he attacked gun advocates for ignoring the bloodshed facing millions of Americans. But that's not a message that is likely to be heeded in the compound behind me, where they have machine guns that they used against helicopters, where they have grenades and vast amounts of ammunition bought with their members' money.
Bill, how is this likely to be resolved?
Well, there have been negotiations. There is an open phone line with the compound, but the authorities are quite clearly preparing for an attack. They've brought up reinforcements. This cult believes in the apocalypse, and the authorities are promising that it may happen sooner than they think.
Bill Neely, thank you very much indeed. American officials are tonight studying satellite pictures to see how effective their airdrop of aid over Bosnia has been. They've located 9 of the 30 crates. None has so far been picked up by the Muslims it was intended for. Bosnian leaders say most of it landed on Serb-held positions. Here's our defense correspondent, Jeffrey Archer.
It was an amateur radio operator in Sarajevo who broke the news that the first US airdrop may have failed. Talking to Gorazde and Čerška, Muslim enclaves cut off by Serbs, the message came back that no aid packages had been found there. Last night, 3 Hercules transports took off from Frankfurt, each carrying 7 tons of army rations and medical supplies. President Clinton's told his Air Force to minimize the risk to itself by flying blacked out 2 miles above the ground. The air crew had to don night vision goggles, and they needed oxygen masks. Somewhere over eastern Bosnia, they won't say where, the cargo tumbled into the night air. The Air Force say they dropped it where the UN told them to, but with battle lines changing frequently on the ground below, it looked tonight as if most could have ended up in the hands of Serb militias. The Americans admit drops from such a height cannot be precise.
The unknown factor here is the winds below us, because we have no way of determining those winds.
Despite the uncertain effect of their mission today, the pilots believe they were getting supplies where they were needed.
It is an important thing that we're doing, bringing food to the people who need it the most. So, yeah, my heart kind of skipped a beat after we got load clear.
The Americans are expected to try again tonight. Knowing the degree of suffering there is in those cut-off parts of Bosnia, they think it's worth the effort. And they got some encouragement today. The German government is considering providing a plane to help out with the airdrops. Jeffrey Archer, News at 10, Frankfurt.
Australian television today broadcast a previously unpublished part of what's said to be a taped telephone conversation between the Princess of Wales and James Gilby. It's since been published in a London newspaper and transmitted on news agency wires. One national tabloid newspaper says it will publish a full transcript in the morning. The Princess is now on her way to Nepal on her first solo visit overseas since her separation from the Prince of Wales in December. ITN's Julian Mannion reports.
Today's edition of the flagship Australian current affairs programme Four Corners broadcast what it said were previously unpublished sections of the so-called Dianagate tape. The extracts are part of a mobile telephone call which allegedly took place on New Year's Eve 1989 and was, according to Australian television and British press reports, between Princess Diana and her friend James Gilby, though they are not identified in the call. The sections broadcast in Australia include intimate details of a highly personal relationship. The unnamed woman expresses the fear that she may become pregnant, and the man reassures her that she won't. ITN is in possession of a full copy of the tape and can confirm that the extracts are previously unpublished parts of the illicitly recorded call. As the Dianagate controversy resumes, the man who says he recorded the tape remains behind drawn curtains at his home in Abingdon. Cyril Reenan is a self-confessed telephone snooper who uses a top-of-the-range scanner to overhear other people's mobile phone calls, which he records on an open microphone linked to a cassette recorder. Today's Australian report repeats earlier claims that the tape may have been recorded by the security services, but ITN's investigation has found no evidence of this. Examination of the tape shows that along with the 2 callers, other voices can also be heard. These appear to be the Reenans, heard on the open microphone. The Sun newspaper bought the tape in January 1990. Deputy Editor Stuart Higgins investigated it and quickly became convinced that the man on the tape was James Gilby, a descendant of the Ginn family.
We then confronted Mr. Gilby. Mr. Gilby went white and started shaking. And as a result of that, one can only assume that Mr. Gilby would have told the Princess of Wales.
But the Sun decided that the tape was too hot to handle until Andrew Morton's book about the crisis in the Wales's marriage. Last October, the Sun published transcripts of the tape, but left out some sections because, as the Sun told ITN, they would be particularly damaging to the Princess of Wales. It's perhaps not surprising that Australia is the source of today's story. With Prime Minister Paul Keating promising a referendum on the role of the monarchy, journalists feel they're under few restrictions. The new headlines about the so-called squidgy tapes could not have come at a worse time for the Princess of Wales, who today began her visit to Nepal. It was a visit she might have hoped would strengthen her image at a difficult time.
Next tonight, scientists develop a new treatment for cancer. The patients it will help one day. Plans to break up British gas. Would the consumers get a better deal? And underage drinking. Tonight's Focus on Britain. How many youngsters are already big drinkers?
Kids are drinking from 12 upwards that I know from personal experience, and they're drinking quite heavy.
¿Te gustaría?
¿Puedo?
What else are dreams for, if not to come true?
Black coffee is my name. Black coffee with not a thing. Hot black coffee now, freshly ground and fully packed. See, hot black coffee, boys. Well, that's what it's
Rich, dark, blend 37. A blend of strength.
I've got one. The first ever £10 stamp from Royal Mail. Look at the detail on it. It's got built-in security too. Look, there's more. Special presentation pack from main post offices. First day cover as well. Now, listen, it's at post offices from Tuesday. I've got a number if you want it sent direct. My £10 stamp. Start of the collection. Mum, are you listening to me?
Del Monte Pure Orange Juice. It tastes so good first thing. You should get some for your Del Monte man.
Been seeing this lovely girl, Georgina, and tonight's the big night. Bottle of vin rouge, chicken chasseur in the oven. And with this new gas central heating system, I can control the temperature in every room. So, I've made it nice and cozy in here. And just for tonight, I'll make the lounge a bit cooler. So we have to snuggle up.
Come on, the match has started.
Well, fellows,
Turn the heat up a bit, will ya?
don't you just love being in control?
British scientists believe they've discovered a new way to fight cancer. The treatment would involve a sort of guided genetic missile fired precisely into cancerous cells. Because it involves genetic engineering, they'd need official consent to do the experiment. Our science editor Lawrence McGinty reports.